and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being with us on the, what is today, Wednesday? Is that what today is? Wednesday. Telephone number 870-275-9799. Good morning to everybody out there. Let's see, we're broadcasting on stations across Arkansas as well as our YouTube channel, Conduit News. Please go and like it and subscribe to it, or subscribe and click the little bell to receive notifications. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Conduit News. That's where we have another live video going right now for your viewing pleasure. And I want to remind you also, if you ever missed the program, you can get it at the podcast, which is in your iTunes store or on SoundCloud. If you guys have if you have the podcast app on your iPhone, it's right there. Just search for Conduit News. And then if you are the Android, of the Android persuasion, doesn't that sound weird? Like people like 20 years ago, of the Android persuasion. What does that mean? We have Androids now? If you use the Android software, use SoundCloud app. That's my recommendation. This article, there's an article that's posted on the Arkansas Democratic Party website. Joe, you're not going to believe this. The Arkansas Democrat Party has now been cued in to the awkwardness that's going on in the Arkansas Republican Party. Well, it's not really that awkward, because the outlier, and this is what's interesting, the outlier in this whole situation between Arkansas's congressional delegation, the Republican Party of Arkansas, and Governor Asa Hutchinson is Governor Asa Hutchinson. He's the outlier here because he's the one who has said that the impeachment inquiry is somehow valid. He's the one that said it was, quote, unwise for the president to talk to a foreign leader in Ukraine. Keep in mind, this is all over a phone call. It's a phone call. I mean, what was that meme that we saw the other day, Joe, where, the left is totally ignoring, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, look at what they did to the nation of Libya, and look at the vacuum that it created. Look at the human smuggling that resulted after we, overthrew Muammar Gaddafi. Hillary Clinton, we came, he saw, we died. Look at what happened then in Benghazi in 2012. I mean, look at all of that, those foreign relations disasters and what they created, and running weapons via Turkey into Syria from Libya. All of this stuff happening, and the left's upset about a phone call. Not like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama did actual kinetic military action in Libya, overthrew a government, continuing this decades-long policy of destabilizing the Middle East. And yet the left is melting down over a phone call. Not one phone call, but now two phone calls, because they talked to Australia as well. Not two phone calls, but now a trip with John Durham, the U.S. attorney investigating the deep state. John Durham went with Bill Barr to Italy to talk to their counterparts, their respective counterparts. That is why everybody's freaking out. That is why they're coming to impeachment. That's why Hillary Clinton is now making public appearances again. Somehow she's able to stand up. He's more machine now than he is man. That's why. It's because if she has a public profile again, she's a lot harder to go after and potentially indict for crimes, which there are many. And if I don't know about you, but are you guys sick of hearing the mainstream media say that there's no evidence that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden have done something wrong in Ukraine? I'm sick of it. There's no evidence to support. The man is on videotape confessing. What do you mean there's no evidence? Telephone number 870-275-9799. The Arkansas Democrat Party is taking a swing at the lack of unity in the Arkansas GOP, but it's really not a lack of unity. Asa Hutchinson is the outlier. And, people say, Paul, people have told me before, Why do you, why talk about Asa? Why point these things out, the way you do, all the time? Listen, I'm just pointing out what everybody else is thinking, okay, and is too afraid to say. That's what I'm doing, and it's not that there's anything personal, right? It's just it doesn't make sense. For example, and I'm going to get to this article here in just a minute, but again, on the outlier, why on the 70th anniversary of communist rule in China, they unveil a missile that can reach the United States in 30 minutes and are pretty much bragging about it. And yet you have Asa Hutchinson, head of our economic development, that is not just like 1 foot in with China, not testing the waters, dipping his toe. He's all in on China and bringing these Chinese companies here. He's ignoring the evidence. Now that's another outlier. He's the outlier. He's the variable here. Why would we still don't have an answer to this? Why would the governor go all in with China and ignore all of the evidence that suggests that it's a terrible idea? It's weird. Can you throw this up on the screen for our viewers, Joe? Arkansas Democrat Party writes, Arkansas's elected Republicans can't get on the same page over Trump's behavior. Actually, no, they're pretty much all on the same page, except Asa. Isn't that funny? That's such a stupid headline. Gosh, you Democrats. Such a stupid... You see how fun it is to make fun of the Democrats when the entire Republican Party... Well, I mean, minus Asa. You see when the Republicans are all on the same page, except Asa, it's really fun to make fun of the Democrats, isn't it? Arkansas's elected Republicans can't get on the same page over Trump's behavior. Well, there's only one. I mean, you guys act like there's like it's an equal split or something. It's not. But hey, kudos to the Dems for actually trying to, do something. For a while, the Arkansas Democratic Party's just been trying to plug holes in the boat that's the sinking ship that is, well, now it's more like a lifeboat. I mean, the ship's gone down a long time ago. The Republican Party leadership, they write, in Arkansas has said everything ranging from continue the investigation to invoking the president's language of a total witch hunt. Well, I mean, it's just one guy who said continue the investigation, and that's the outlier here, Asa Hutchinson. This article's a joke, but it's still funny. It's amusing to me this morning. Arkansas Democrat. Here's the Arkansas Democratic Party Chairman Michael John Gray. See if you can sense the irony that I'm sensing with Michael John Gray making this statement. Ready? The Arkansas GOP can't make up their minds on the president. Governor Hutchinson, the leader of their party, has said the investigations into Trump's behavior should continue. I'm glad the governor took this modest step. Okay, let's stop right there. We have the chairman of the Democrat Party of Arkansas on the same page as Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson when it comes to Trump impeachment. Hello? That right there is the headline. I mean, that's the headline for the whole show today, as far as I'm concerned. Hello? Are there any state representatives? Are there any state senators out there that are tired of this? Are you guys tired of having to make excuses as to why Asa, is a conservative or masquerading as a conservative when he's really not? Are you guys tired of this yet? I mean, gosh, I'm exhausted having to constantly talk about it. But it needs to be done because it's the truth. When it comes to Trump impeachment, the chairman of the Democrat Party of Arkansas, Michael John Gray, is complimenting Asa Hutchinson for his position on Trump's impeachment, if that ever actually even happens. The Arkansas GOP can't make up their minds on the president. Governor Hutchinson, the leader of their party, has said the investigations into Trump's behavior should continue. I'm glad, again, Democrat Party of Arkansas chairman is glad The governor took the modest step in the right direction, but all his fellow Republicans seem to have lost the memo. They can't have it both ways, he says, and their leadership cannot act like they are on the same page because they aren't. Michael John Gray. Our members of the House, especially Congressman Crawford, who is on the Intelligence Committee in charge of the investigation, are refusing their Article 1 responsibilities just to defend Trump's outrageous behavior. Arkansans are tired of politicians who won't just say their opinion and go out there and defend it. Anybody know how ironic this is? Because, see, Michael John Gray, many people are wondering why Michael John Gray, the Democrat, is even still the chairman of the Democrat Party of Arkansas, because he has, there are severe financial irregularities that have been exposed by one of his own over at the Blue Hog Report. Okay? You have Matt Campbell over at the Blue Hog Report. Anybody see the irony here? Because it's Matt Campbell, who is one of their own, that has exposed that their own party is not in lockstep on who should be their leader and mission and everything else. Boy, I find that very ironic, don't you? Oh, man. Again, this is too, you can't make this up, folks. You cannot make this up. Democrat Party of Arkansas Chairman Michael John Gray, again, complimenting Asa Hutchinson for his stance on whether Trump should be impeached or not. This is fantastic stuff. Can you scroll down here? All right, here's more of the article from the Arkansas Democrats. Let's start with Governor Asa Hutchinson. Over the weekend, the governor implored the Congress to continue its oversight duty, which is granted by Article 1 of the Constitution. Oh, really? Did he have to go to Constitution school to learn that one? I mean, you know, people just talk about... The Democrats love the Constitution now, by the way. He told the Arkansas Democrat Gazette that further scrutiny is warranted. And then they have this headline from the Gazette. Arkansas governor should take allegations against Trump seriously. Here's the quote from the governor. The facts have to be developed. The allegations raised should be taken seriously, Asa Hutchinson said. Now, he also went on to say in that same article that Donald Trump's phone call to the Ukrainian president was, quote, unwise. Okay, but listen to this. But the leader of the Arkansas GOP seemed to be all alone. You can scroll down. The leader of the Arkansas GOP seemed to be all alone. No member of the congressional delegation, no other constitutional officer, and no GOP state party official joined Hutchinson in his call for continuing the House investigation into Trump's apparently blatant abuse of power. Again, this is making Asa look really bad because it makes Asa look like a Democrat. This is meant to. I don't understand how this. You know, the Democrats. You know, it's kind of a weird, like, backhanded comp. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish here, honestly. I mean, they're trying to criticize Republicans. You know, like Congressman Crawford. You know, like Bruce Westerman, like French Hill, like Steve Womack, Senator Tom Cotton, Senator John Bozeman. They're trying to criticize them by pointing out that Asa is the lone Republican. Asa's the lone Republican that's saying, you know, there may be something here and we need to continue this. And, you know, it wasn't wise for the president to make that phone call. What do you mean it wasn't wise? The man is asking, if you actually read the transcript, Governor, he's asking about 2016. And he's essentially telling the world the Democrat Party never turned their server over to the FBI. That's weird. They used this company called CrowdStrike, and Ukraine knows something about it. Man, oh man, this is real interesting. No member. See, again, the Democrats, no member of the congressional delegation, no other constitutional officer, no GOP state party official joined Hutchinson in his call for continuing the House investigation into Trump's apparently blatant abuse of power. Congressman Rick Crawford called the investigation a charade. Congressman Steve Womack dismissed it as hysteria. GOP Chairman Doyle Webb said the investigation remains unwarranted. Thank you. I want to say to Doyle Webb, thank you. Thank you to the RPA, to Doyle Webb, because you're exactly right. The investigation is unwarranted. Senator Cotton, unsurprisingly, went the furthest in defense of the president. He claimed that that Trump and his administration have displayed unprecedented transparency. Thank you, Senator Cotton, for stating what we all know as well, and for standing with the president when you have the deep state and the Democrats who are trying to remove a president and deny the people their voice, all because the real reason is the president is resetting diplomatic relations with countries that used to be loyal to the globalists and the deep state and their shadow government, whatever you want to call it. But the fact of the matter is, the Democrats and the deep state are mad that the new president of Ukraine is listening to Trump. They're mad that the president of Australia is listening to Trump. They're mad that the leadership in Italy is listening to Trump. They're mad that we have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia and that this bin Salman guy is listening to Trump. That's what they're upset about here. And they're also mad that he's challenging China. All of these politicians in the United States, maybe in Arkansas, who've been on the take with China, they're mad that the president is saying no more. They're mad that we're, for national security reasons, focusing on American-made steel because we don't want to trust the Chinese to make our steel where we make our missiles and our tanks. Pretty soon, we're probably going to start looking into the fact that a lot of our over-the-counter medicines are manufactured in China. That doesn't need to happen anymore either, quite frankly. You know, I mean, remember when the Chinese they had they had poisoned dog food or cat food? Remember that? Anyway, we're going to keep going with this, but the Arkansas Democrat Party, if you're just joining us, they're calling out Republicans and complimenting Asa for being for an impeachment inquiry. Did you ever, again, please, just somebody speak out. You know, somebody, do not be afraid anymore. To our local politicians who are Republicans, you don't have to be afraid anymore. This is a no-brainer. And, don't be afraid to support the president, and don't be afraid to criticize the governor when he does something that is just simply, when he's stating things that are just simply not accurate. He's getting his talking points, or getting his information, rather, maybe from MSNBC. This is the headline right now across Breitbart.com, which is, it's really weird when you look at the difference between Breitbart and Drudge. And the fact that the late Andrew Breitbart, the late great Andrew Breitbart, used to run the Drudge Report for Matt Drudge. How times have changed when you look at the way Drudge is covering the news today and actually giving a foothold to some massive, massive fake news. But Charlie Sparing, this article reporting on President Donald Trump accused the Democrats on Tuesday of conducting a coup to remove him from office. This is his Twitter. Quote, "As I learn more and more each day, I am coming to the conclusion that what is taking place is not an impeachment. It's a coup intended to take away the power of the people, their vote, their freedoms, their Second Amendment, religion, military, border wall, and their God-given rights as a citizen of the United States of America. We are at war. These people are sick. They're sick, and nobody's called it out like I do. I don't understand. People are afraid to call it out. They are afraid to say that the press is crooked. We have a crooked press. We have a dishonest media." That's President Trump. And, of course, now, hang on, was this a tweet? No, this wasn't a tweet. It was during I guess. Okay, we are at war were the private remarks. He did tweet that first part. Okay, and then the stuff that was the private remarks were later leaked by the New York Times, which I think is a hilarious caveat. Also, I think it's important to recognize. Oh, hang on a second. I've got something playing on my screen. Devin Nunes. Now, by the way, you go to conduitnews.com and you can, and I reference people this all the time, but if you go to conduitnews.com or you go to our YouTube channel, I want you to search for the interview that I did with Congressman Devin Nunes, okay, who is now the ranking member. At the time, he was the chairman of the House Intel Committee, but now he's the ranking member on the House Committee on Intelligence. And we were talking about the FISA declassification. When was that going to happen? And we thought back in 2018, this time, I think it was about a year ago, that we were going to get a declass any day. It's been a year later. Now, the president has delegated the authority to declassify to Attorney General William Barr. There's been what is essentially a special prosecutor. I mean, he's just a U.S. attorney, but John Durham looking into this. So go to Conduit News and check out that interview, because I think it is still relevant today about investigating the investigators, because this whole thing was a phony witch hunt, and it was an insurance policy. I mean, you have that in the text messages. But Devin Nunes is back in the news today saying, quote, "This is not a real impeachment. This is like a faux impeachment. What they're doing is, by keeping this at the House Intelligence Committee, we're not built, the Intelligence Committee is not a place to run impeachment hearings. So what they're trying to do is they're hiding from the American people. They don't want the normal process. They're not actually they're not actually doing the normal impeachment process. This impeachment inquiry is supposed to take place, after, from what I understand, after they actually have a vote, which they're not doing, okay? So just something to think about there.